this is 16th year, I think, of Name Day. And they're on the name website, not Create, but the name website. Under name events, there is a category for Name Day. And the posted there are all the cutters for Name Day that will cut kits you can buy from.
Okay.
The actual plans, if you want to cut it yourself, will be in the July-August Gazette. And we are having a series of how-tos to do different things with this one, because I'm going to show you here. The basic kit for Name Day, it's a Courtyard. You've seen it in the Gazette. It's been in 3 Gazettes now. The January, February had the bare bones of it, just the wood, what comes in a kit. The March, April had one design that was really pretty, and then this last Gazette, which is the May-June Gazette, it has 2 more designs that people have done with it. And the next one will have more. So you've had a lot of prototypes you could look at, but you have to think of what you want to do with yours, because this is extremely versatile. First of all, it is just going to be some wood you get in the kit. The base does not come with it, because everybody's going to want to do a different setup, a different arrangement, or possibly or not. This is the basic wood kit. It has a wall you put together here and this little planter. It has a wall, a stair step wall here that you put together that has a little planter. It's got this one wall in the back that there is a planter on the other side of it, a little half circle planter on the other side, which you can put on the inside or the outside. On our samples we've sent, one of the samples has a fountain right on this wall here in the back, a little one. Another one, they had a different layout and it got a big fountain with this on the back. Then there's the arch part that comes in the kit. The base is up to you, what you want to do with it and what size you want to make it. A 9 by 9 base, which this one's laid out on, and it's not a lot of space in there inside, is will fit in a basketball box if you're looking for that. So that one Courtyard we put in the March-April Gazette is this arrangement. The one we put and also the one that Allison put into this last Gazette, her Courtyard, is in this arrangement. However, the other Courtyard that was in this last recent Gazette took these 2 walls, spread them out straight across, and then put that arch in the middle. Now, there are gates that come with the kit. Each cutter has, some of the cutters have gates, some don't. And so you need to look at the various gates that are available. So go to all the cutter sites and look at their stuff. And if you like Connie Reagan, Grand Girl Miniatures, she sent out a brochure of pictures of her accessories and gate and things to everybody that's on her frequent buyer list. Allison has not sent her gate out, but it's going to be available too. and she's got a different kind of gate. And then I believe Liz West has a third kind of gate. So I think those are the 3 gates they've made. It's 3 inches across for whatever gate you choose to use. In the 1-inch scale. The other scales are different measurements. What else did I want to say about it? So this is all you get. So you need to decide, are you going to just paint it? Are you going to put like paint with Rolotex in it over it all, which would give it a stucco look? Or you could put plaster on it, you know, like spackle or something, and then paint it. You could, the one that's, let's see, what was the other thing? Oh, Connie Reagan's, which I do have a picture of, but she used that paper you can get from Starbucks 2 on Etsy. He has those, he's from Greece, and he has those textured papers in different scales, and they are kind of a thick paper because they are textured. So he has stones, he has bricks, he has all kinds of things. And then the one that was put into the March-April Gazette was paper clay. And it had been stamped and with various things and painted, all painted and dry brushed. Now, there is going to be a paper clay. You'll have to look on the Create calendar. I don't have all these dates handy here.
Yeah, it's not on the calendar yet, but it'll be June 21st.
It's not on the calendar yet because I don't think it's till June, the demonstration. But Terry Unold is going to do a demonstration of paper clay, which you can cover this all with. As far as textures on the wall, if you just mix a little Rolotex in some paint, you can paint that on and have a stucco texture. If you want to do the paper, the textured paper, you'd have to go onto Etsy to Starbuck, STARBOC 2. Find that dealer on Etsy and order stuff from him. The problem with that is you might want to go in with someone else because you have to buy a lot from him, like 16 sheets or 12 sheets at a time. A few of them you can get 7 sheets at a time, but you can't just buy 1 or 2. So, and they have to come from Greece, so you need a little bit of time to plan that. The bases, that is what we're going to do tonight. I'm going to do a demo for at least how to do a flagstone base, which is what we had on the sample, the 3D printed sample that was in the March-April Gazette. No, not March-April, the January-February, March-April. Yeah, the March-April Gazette. That sample was done with paper clay. And we also, on the base, we had the flagstone base. So I'm teaching how to do a flagstone base tonight. I'm going to do it again on Create in September or August. I can't remember which. No, in August, I guess it is. August 24th. And then I might do a demo of how to do the base like is on the one in this last Gazette, the one that's more kind of Southwest looking. That was very intricate what she did. It was a lot of work that she did. So, but I could teach you how to do that when I'll do a demo of that next month if you want. And then on the back, like this wall, on one of them, in this last one. So the one that was in the Gazette, this most recent Gazette, she put squares of tile that she cut up and made tile and put it on the back. And then she made a different base at the bottom for her fountain. I'm also going to do a water feature class on Create in September to show how to do resin water. It's not going to be, it'll be regular resin, not not the, what's that new resin they're doing now?
UV.
UV.
The UV, it's not UV resin, it's other resin. I used just regular resin, but you can adapt it to UV resin, I'm sure. Does that help answer your questions, Alice, at all?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Okay, so it's a little complicated this year because not everything comes in the kit. It's really just these wood parts, and everything else is extras. Allison will have extras. I know Connie, Reagan, Grand Girl will have extras. I think Liz West has extras, and I don't know about the other. Preble, do you have extras yet?
Extras of what?
Are you going to have extras like a gate or anything that goes with the name day kit, or extra things to go with it on your?
We have not planned any extras. We're just cutting.
Just cutting the basic kit, right? Okay. So she's cutting the basic kit, and I believe Cynthia is cutting the basic kit. So we have 3 that will have a lot of extras, but you can order the gates for anybody's kits from the other people. You can get the extras from them and kits from other people. It just depends who you want to go with. So you need to get that list of cutters. It was also in the last Gazette, also the list of cutters and where to contact them. And you'll have to get their information. Just ask them for their information. That's the name day project. And then we will have name day on MCC on October 5th, Sunday, October 5th, where if you have your kits, we can work on them together and things like that. Okay. If I get my hands out of your vision or something, let me know. Okay, you need a base. I made my bases and the base on the one thing out of gator board. This is a piece of gator board. It's not very thick. It's about roughly a 1/4 inch, a little bit less than a 1/4 inch thick. You can get it also in 1/2 inch thick if you want it. It's a little expensive, but gator board has a plastic fiber over the outside of the core. The core, it's called gator board, and the center is foam, and the outside is a plastic fiber. I'm not sure what to call it. And it's different. It's very much like foam core, except it's more sturdy. And foam core is cardboard on the outside. It will warp and bend, and this does not. And so I like it for a base because it doesn't add a lot of weight, but it adds, but it's sturdy enough to put a structure on that's not terribly heavy. So what we're going to do is take an egg carton. I've taken my egg carton. I tore off there. This one happened to have a paper label on it, so you can see the excess paper here, but I couldn't get all of it off. So it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. And I just tear it. Tear it into pieces, all kinds of pieces. Is anybody working along with me tonight? Do I need to worry about that? Nope.
Nope.
Okay, then this is just a demo. So you tear up your pieces. And the reason I tear it, if you want more of a tile looking, then you'll want to cut it with scissors. But I'm doing it because when I get it all torn, it has this torn edge, and it's a rough edge, and it blends in better, and it kind of flattens in better when you get it glued on and painted. So that's why I use it. I don't, for 1 inch scale, I do not make it any thinner. But if you're doing this in 1/4 scale, a 1/2 inch might be okay in this thickness too. It depends on the look you want. But if you're doing it in 1/2 inch or in 1/4 inch scale, you can split this into several layers. And I would split it at least once, and I'd use either the thick layer or the thin layer to make my thing. And basically what you do with all these pieces is you make a mosaic. You make a mosaic on your floor. So I am going to get my glue. I just use white glue. Oh, come on, if I can get it to work now. I had it all unplugged and now it's not. Darn it. I had it all unplugged, but our meeting is going too long. So I have to do here. So I just put white glue on there. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. And spread it around. You'll need quite a bit of glue because you want to get your edges glued down and stuff. And you can add more after, you know, when you, and then you're going to let it dry a little bit. So I spread it around a little and I just start putting these on. You can put either side. There's a lumpier side. Can you see that? Oh, wait. Can you
There you
see that that's rougher than this side?
Yes.
So you can choose which side you want to use. And you might want to mix them up. So I just start putting them down. And I leave little spaces. There will be the cracks where we're going to, you know, where your cement's going to go. And I put them around. And it doesn't matter if you've got writing on there. You know, all that doesn't matter because we're going to be painting it all. So I just sort of try to fit them in and have a little space between them. You all know how to do that with mosaic-y type of things?
Mm-hmm.
Anybody got questions about that, laying them out?
Nope.
Okay, so then that's how much I'm laying out for you right now. Okay, so you do this all over your thing. You can even run it off the edges because you can always take scissors and trim it around the edges of your piece. Everybody's base is going to be a little different for what you're doing this for. You could do this for pathways. You could do them for almost anything. I'm demonstrating in 1-inch scale because it's easier to see. So when this is dry, I would let it dry. And then I put, and on this one, all right. Well, I've got one here that's ready for me to dry brush, but I put a gray. I like, if you want gray cement in the middle and you want your stones to be a little grayer, you would paint it with a gray. If you want it more in the brown tones and you want dirt in between your things, you would paint it all with brown. So you're going to paint this all one color, and then we're going to dry brush it. If we use brown on it, on the base, and it doesn't matter what brown you use, this is burnt umber, but if it's brown and you're going to do beige tones, you will go from dark to light with your dry brushing. If you do a gray, you might want to do a dark gray or a light gray. I've got both here. And go from the gray, you can either make it lighter or darker. There's 2 grays you could use. This is drizzle gray, this is French gray. It really doesn't matter what color you start with, but that's going to be the color that's in between your stones. So I'm going to do this one in brown because I want dirt between the stones, because the other one I'm going to show you is going to be, so I just sprinkle paint all over it. I get a brush. Where's my brush that I had here? I get a big brush. This'll do. It's not as big as I'd like, but I get my brush a little wet and I just paint it all. Okay. Now, remember, this is after your glue has dried, and this glue has not dried yet, but I'm just showing you. So I paint it all. That color. Now I got to let it dry. Now, magically, I happen to have one here. It's kind of like the cooking shows. I happen to have one where I did paint a color. That has to dry before we can go any further. So magically, like the cooking shows, I happen to have one I laid and painted it all gray.
Here's one I made earlier.
All right.
Magic.
Now, it's not the best gray. I mean, there are spots of white in there, but it will be eventually covered up. And I'll dab in other colors as we go. Now, this one, I let it dry from the paint. Then I sprayed it twice. And you can either use spray or you can paint on a sealer. You could use Ceramcoat clear sealer, or you could use varnish, or I happen to use this. I used Krylon satin finish. If you have a matte, it would be even better, but I didn't have matte. I don't know if it comes in a matte finish. You could also use Deft, except it has a new name. Who knows what that new name is? Because I forgot.
Oh,
Prolux.
Prolux.
Yeah.
Prolux is Deft renamed. Yes. So you can use that. And I sprayed a coat of that, a heavy coat of that on. Because now when I dry brush, I can wipe things off and change it without messing with my original coat of paint. So I am going to, I have here, I have some grays. Don't know if you can see them.
Yep.
Darker and lighter. I have a little brown and a little off-white here. I have to stir that. It's kind of messy. And it really doesn't matter what colors you use. It's just a variety of colors that you want. And then later I like to dry brush in a little bit of green, a little bit of red, a little bit of yellow, that kind of thing, because it gives it more. But so I take a brush. Now, usually I use a sort of stiffish brush. Where are my dry brush brushes? Which I forgot to get out for this. Sorry, I should have been more prepared. I forgot about the brushes.
okay.
It's not like I don't have 300 brushes here in front of me. But I use old brushes for dry brushing, and a lot. And you need to watch. Anyway, these are some of my older, wait, where's my
There,
screen?
that way. There you go. Oh, there.
Everything's backward on my screen. Okay, these are old kind of ratty brushes, and that's what I use for dry brushing. And they're kind of stiff. This is a short, stiff one. This is not so stiff, but this is stiff. This is a little bit stiff. This is stiff. So I will start with, say, I need a lot of paper towels for this when I dry brush. Not everybody probably does it this way. And I know everybody doesn't do things the way I do it. So this is just my way. So I need that. So I will get my brush wet, but I will dry it off as much as possible. And then I'm going to try this darker gray. I put my brush just barely into it, and then I stamp it all over here until then I get a little bit of paint on from my thing. I start, can you see the difference? How it's just doing a little bit.
Yep.
And I just sort of brush it over my things. This takes some time to do and get a look you want, but you can do whatever you want. And if you don't like the look you're getting, you could paint it all with the base coat again and start all over, you know. And it will take quite a while for me to get it to a shade that I want. But this is what dry brushing's about. But the biggest, most important thing is don't have too much paint on your brush, but you want enough that it will show something. But if it gets too much, then you got to go back and do too much repairs. So I try to just do a little bit, a little bit, a little bit. And honestly, you can't honestly tell how much it did until it's dried. Anyway, so I put that little bit on. Now I will get a little bit of the lighter gray, and I will stamp it on my thing. And see, I'm using the same brush, but I'm rubbing most of it off. I'm rubbing most of it off on this paper towel. And then I'm going to go, like this, here and there. Very, very lightly, very lightly. You don't want to scrub it on. You just want little highlights here and there. See, it's already got a little bit of texture from this.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I'm going to bring in a little bit of this dark brown to that, because I don't want it so gray that it doesn't have some brown in there too. So rub it off, and then I'll do this. Oh, that's too much. Just a little here and there. See, it gives it a little more depth. And this is just random what I'm doing. And I know it doesn't look great yet, but keep this up with these little bits and pieces. You need a lot of patience for this and little time to spend on it. So I'm rinsing my brush a little bit because I'm going to now use, I want to use this lighter color, this, what is this color that I got here? I can't, oh, here it is. It's called Oyster Beige. So it's kind of a yellowy beige. See that? You can see it on the paper towel.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And then I gotta get it off of my brush because I don't want to put a big swipe of that here and there. And then I'll put a little of that here and there. Yeah. I just go back and forth with this stuff until I get a look I kind of like. And and sometimes I have to step away and let it dry a little bit to see it. I'm leaving the centers the same gray that I painted it before, so it will look more like this was laid in cement, you know? Depends how light or dark you like it. See, these are darker. Anyway, I'm throwing this together really fast. I'm going to get a little green. Wait a minute. Show you what that does.
Are you trying to mimic moss on the rocks with the green?
No, the moss, you could do that, but I actually did. But on a yellow too. Wait a minute. Getting for the moss that we had on the sample, I actually took railroad foam for grass, you know, grass turf.
Uh-huh.
Get from Woodland Scenics or something like that. And we actually glued it between the rocks and kind of under where there were cracks like here. You can't see the cracks as well as I can. Let me show you, but you'll see cracks here. And there are places that just are asking for moss.
Oh, yeah.
You see the texture? and
uh-huh,
like right under here or
Yeah.
here,
yeah,
here, and you could just put a little bit of glue there and sprinkle the turf on, press it down and then shake it off.
Uh-huh.
So as I said, it takes a long time to really get a whole floor done. I'm going to also add in a little yellow, a little green. Now you could paint in if you're a really good painter. I'm not a good painter. And that's why I like this, because I can mess around with these paints and just do all kinds of things. This is a forest green, just yellow and a red.
Set up.
They sound weird, but you might want to put them in. Oh boy, I need to shake these up better, but we're going to do with what I've got. Oh, that red looks very pink. Don't like it very well. Okay. All right. Now, I'm going to fold my paper towel over so I can use a cleaner part. I wish this phone had a bigger camera because it just will only take up so much space here. I mean, it will only show a certain amount there. But, so where did I put my brushes in the water? So I'm doing all this really with the same brush. Sometimes I really like the shorter, stiffer brush. And I'm going to try that one here. They're really hard to clean though. They're not cleaned very well. So I'm just going to try to add in here a little bit of green. Such a little bit. I don't want much, but I could do it like right around there, right around there, right around there, around there. But I took so much off, you don't see much of it. You have to do this 2 or 3 times if you're going to want to show much. Dry brushing isn't something you do fast. Or, well, I mean, you do it fast, but you don't, if you want to get the colors you like. So I might put a little green here and there. I don't know if you can see it. I can see this little bit of green I'm putting on there.
uh-huh,
I've dropped almost my whole brush, but it is just a little bit of green on there. Can you see that at all?
yes,
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not much and it doesn't stand out as a big smear of green. Then I will put a little touch of red. I don't think this is the best red. What was this? This is called True Red. I think there's better reds than this out there, but anyway. Brings different highlights to it. I don't know if you can see it, but it just puts a little bit of pinkish on there.
mm-hmm,
And then we can go to yellow. You don't have to do all these colors. I'm just showing you things you can do with dry brushing, that the more colors you kind of blend, the better sometimes. And then I will go back over it with gray at the end. So it's primarily gray because that's what I want on mine. See the yellow? Can you
mm-hmm,
see the yellow
yeah.
on there?
Yep,
I put a little too much, but I just want you to be able to see it. So then I'm going to go back with, let's see, where's the color I originally used here? I think I want, oh, this is a color that I love to put everywhere. Oh, we're going to use this one. Does everybody know what barnwood is?
yes, I love that.
I love barnwood because it's not a gray, it's not a brown.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a brownish gray. And it really,
It's sometimes hard to find though.
well, it's folk art. And folk art seems to be taking over for Ceramcoat, which is kind of disappearing from the face of the earth. Hello, whoever came in. Okay, then I'll put a little of this over everything. Now, see, I think I got too much yellow on there, so I have to tone it down. And I will do that with my gray later in a minute. I'm probably putting too much on here, but I did want it all in one space, but it's nice to have them spread out, but I'm just doing this little sample. Oh, I've got too much yellow on my paintbrush. That's my problem. I need to get a different paintbrush now. Get a different paintbrush. This one. This is smaller, but will work better. Not so much yellow. Barnwood. Anyway, can't see the barnwood so much, but it's a good color to use on everything. It would be a good base for your thing too. Anyway. And then because I think I have too much yellow, I'm going back to the gray. This is not the time to be barking at me, dog. I'm not going to feed you right now. So you may not love these colors. I'm not totally in love with it. I'd have to play with it a lot more. I would have to, at this point, probably want to go back. I would probably let it dry and see how it looked. And then I would put more, if I wanted gray, put more gray into it. And then absolutely put glue down in these edges and put a little bit of turf in there for your moss. So that's kind of my dry brushing technique.
Yeah.
What's it look like on there? Oh, it's very colorful, isn't it? Yeah, I don't know if I want it that colorful. I don't remember if my other one looks that colorful.
Is there anything, Barbara, you do different if it's different size? You know, if it's different scales, is there any difference that you do, or no, you do it all?
No, I do exactly the same thing with each scale.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. I'm gonna have to play around with that.
But it's fun to play around with. I think there's too many colors in here that are showing and not so much gray. So I think I would put more of my original gray in there. But back in darker gray. But anyway, that's kind of the rough idea that I'm demonstrating. So it's a nice look for patios. You can do it for floors. Old time English floors or something they often did this kind of thing, and you just I wouldn't put as much color in it as I would in a patio, but. Questions?
No.
There are different schools of thought on dry brushing. There are those who say go dark to light and those that say go light to dark. So I personally think you can do either. And like I said, if you don't like this, you start with your original gray and you just do it all over again and start over again. It is time consuming and something you have to like this kind of look too. On the other hand, you could just do it all gray and leave it too. All right.
Thank you, Barbara.